Hello my friends, welcome back to Learn Flow English. Today we're diving into one of the most powerful books ever written about human behavior, The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. This is a global bestseller, and for good reason. It explains why people think, feel, and act the way they do. But here's the thing, this episode is not just about ideas. It's about your English. As you listen, you'll pick up natural, real-life English. You'll build vocabulary through context, sharpen your listening, and at the same time, learn something deeper about yourself and the people around you. So yes, this is an English lesson. But it's also a lesson about life. Let's get into it. Most people believe they make good, rational decisions. But the truth? Humans feel first, then think. You meet someone new. Within seconds, you already have a feeling, I like this person or something's off. But you don't even know them yet. That's your brain making a quick judgment, a fast opinion formed without full information. And it's not always correct. Inside every person is a strong emotional side. Sometimes it takes over. You feel angry, and you say something you later regret. You feel nervous, and you avoid something new. In those moments, emotion leads, and logic follows behind. If you don't understand your emotions, you'll keep making the same mistakes. You'll think, why did I do that? I knew better. But in that moment, your feelings were simply louder than your logic. That's why this book starts with one core message: observe yourself. Don't judge. Just notice. When do you feel angry? Jealous? Afraid? Simply saying to yourself, I feel nervous right now, that small awareness begins to give you control. Another key idea is the ego, your sense of self, how you see yourself. The ego protects you. But it also lies to you. Make a mistake. Your ego says, it's not my fault. It shields you from discomfort. But to actually grow, you need honesty, even when the truth is uncomfortable. Maybe you're not as patient as you think. Maybe you're not as kind as you believe. That's okay. Seeing the truth clearly is the first step to changing it. Many people blame others, the test was unfair, my boss is difficult, the situation wasn't right. Sometimes that's true. But if you always blame others, you never learn. Instead, ask yourself, what could I do differently next time? That single question gives you back control. Look at your life. Do you see patterns? Always choosing the wrong people. Always avoiding hard situations. These aren't accidents. Patterns come from repeated behavior, and when you see them, you can change them. Robert Greene says this is step 1 in understanding human nature: know yourself. Not the ideal version, the real one. With your emotions, your mistakes, your habits. Because that's where real strength begins. Now here's something fascinating. People wear masks. Not real ones, but behavioral ones. A mask is how you hide your true self. Why? Because people want to be liked. We want to feel accepted. So we adjust. At work you act one way, with friends another, with family differently. That's normal. But sometimes the gap gets too wide. You're not just adjusting, you're hiding. You smile at someone while thinking, I don't trust this person. Your outside and inside don't match. That's a mask. Masks aren't always wrong. They help us function in society. But if you wear one constantly, people never see the real you. Worse, you start to forget who you really are. Here's what makes understanding masks so powerful: once you know people wear them, you can see beyond them. You start reading signals. Someone says I'm happy for you, but their voice is flat, their eyes cold. Their words and feelings don't match. Watch for these signs. Avoiding eye contact. Smiling only with the mouth. Speaking too fast or too slow. Small signals carry big truths. And remember, Many masks exist because people fear showing weakness. If someone acts very confident and loud, they may actually feel deeply insecure inside. The mask is their armor. This doesn't mean you should rip your own mask off completely, that's not realistic. But start small. Share a real opinion. Let a real feeling show, just a little. Find balance. Not too open, not too closed. When you understand masks, two things happen: you understand yourself better, and you see others more clearly. That's genuine power. Every day, people influence each other. Your friend says try this, it's amazing, and you try it. Normal. Harmless. But there's a difference between influence and control. Influence is natural. Control is when someone guides your behavior even when you don't fully want to go along. And it often works through emotions, not logic. If you really cared about me, you'd help. That one sentence creates guilt. Suddenly you're saying yes to something you don't actually want to do. Some people are skilled with words. Everyone agrees with me, you're the only one who thinks differently. Suddenly you doubt yourself. Because humans have a deep need to belong, and that need can be used against you. In groups, this becomes even stronger. Everyone laughs, so you laugh too, even if you don't find it funny. That's not dishonesty. That's just the pull of belonging. The most subtle form of control. Quiet, repeated erosion. Someone constantly tells you you always make bad decisions. Over time, you start to believe it. You lose confidence. You stop trusting yourself. And that's exactly what they wanted. The defense is simple but powerful. You don't have to answer immediately. Let me think about it, for words that protect you. They give you time. And time gives you clarity. Also, set boundaries. A boundary is a personal limit. I don't want to work late every day. I'm not comfortable with this. Saying no isn't rude. It's self-respect. You don't need to fight. Just be calm and clear. I understand what you're saying, but I can't do that. That's enough. The stronger you are inside, the less outside pressure affects you. That's called inner strength, and it comes from knowing yourself. Here's a truth that changes everything: every person sees the world from their own side. When two people argue, both believe they're right. You can feel your own emotions intensely, but you can't fully feel someone else's. So people sometimes act selfish without even realizing it. Don't take it personally. Most of the time, when someone is rude or cold, it's not about you. It's about what's happening inside them. They're stressed, tired, or dealing with something you can't see. Understanding this lets you stay calm instead of reacting. And you'll meet difficult people. The constant complainer. The attention seeker. The one who always criticizes. When you react emotionally, things get worse. So instead, observe. Notice their patterns. Once you see someone clearly and consistently, you stop feeling surprised. You stop getting pulled in. One important lesson: don't try to change people. Most people don't change quickly, and expecting them to only leads to disappointment. You can't control others, but you can control yourself. Your actions, your reactions, your energy. That's your real power. Try empathy, not to excuse bad behavior, but to understand it. Someone who's always angry probably has pain you can't see. Understanding that makes you less reactive. Find balance. Not too soft, not too hard. Kind but firm. Listening but boundaried. With practice, what used to upset you simply won't anymore. Envy is one of the most common human emotions, and one of the least talked about. Your friend gets a great job. You smile and say that's wonderful. But inside there's a quiet discomfort. Why not me? That's envy. And it's completely normal. The problem isn't the feeling. The problem is when we deny it. When you hide a feeling, it doesn't disappear, it goes underground. It starts affecting your behavior in ways you don't even notice. You might start criticizing the person. They were just lucky. It's not that impressive. You feel better for a second, but it's not honest. And it slowly damages the relationship. The solution? Name it. Just say to yourself, I feel envy right now. That simple awareness breaks its grip. Then redirect. Stop comparing, someone else's success doesn't reduce yours. When you see people's highlight reels on social media, you're not seeing their full life. You're not seeing their struggles, their fears, their failures. The comparison isn't fair. Build your own confidence instead. Focus on your strengths, your progress, your next small step. The more you grow, the less you need to measure yourself against others. And be careful about how openly you share your own success. You don't need to broadcast everything. A little privacy protects your relationships. Feeling genuinely happy for others, even when it's hard, is one of the most freeing habits you can build. Their win doesn't take anything from you. The world has enough space for everyone. Your brain hates uncertainty. When information is missing, it fills the gap with a story. You send a message. No reply for hours. Your brain says, they're angry with me. Did I say something wrong? You feel anxious, maybe upset. Then they reply, sorry, crazy busy day. The story wasn't true. But you felt it completely. This happens constantly. In relationships, someone says something simple, but you hear criticism. At work, your manager gives feedback, and your brain translates it as they think I'm not good enough. The situation is neutral, the story is not. Here's the key insight, your thoughts are not facts. They're interpretations, your personal way of making sense of things. And that means they can be wrong. Before you react, ask yourself, is this true, or is this just my story? That one question can completely change your response. Instead of they're ignoring me, try maybe they're busy. I don't know yet. Less stress. More clarity. Also watch out for negative stories you tell yourself repeatedly. I'm not good at speaking. I'm not smart enough. I always mess up. Repeat a story enough times and your brain accepts it as fact, even if it started from just one or two bad experiences. Those beliefs become cages. Question them. Where did this idea come from? Is it always true? Can I see it differently? And when others react strongly, remember, they're also living inside their own story. Their past, their fears, their assumptions all shape what they see. Understanding that makes you more patient, less reactive, and way better at avoiding unnecessary conflict. Before you send that angry message, pause. Check your story. Wait. You might see things completely differently in an hour. Every person wants to feel seen, valued, respected. This is one of the deepest human needs. When someone says great work, you feel it. Your effort mattered. That feeling fuels motivation. But when this need becomes too intense, it starts controlling behavior. People interrupt conversations to redirect attention back to themselves. They post constantly on social media, waiting for likes. They complain loudly, not just to vent, but to be noticed. They work themselves to exhaustion, hoping someone will finally say wow. None of this makes someone a bad person. It usually means they feel unseen inside. The problem is when your sense of value depends entirely on what others think. You stop being yourself. You say yes when you mean no. You hide your real opinions. Over time, that's exhausting and confusing. Build your value from inside. Enjoy positive feedback, but don't depend on it. When your confidence comes from your own growth rather than other people's approval, it becomes stable. Unshakable. With people who constantly demand attention, listen, be kind, but protect your energy. You don't need to react loudly every time. If you do, you simply reinforce the behavior. And focus on real connections. Not the performance of connection, but actual understanding, honesty, respect. That kind of relationship is deeply satisfying in a way that 1,000 likes never could be. Alone, you think clearly. In a group, something shifts. Everyone around you agrees on something. You're not sure, but you start nodding anyway. Maybe they're right. I don't want to be different. This is natural. We're wired to want belonging. But it can override your judgment. In group thinking, people agree quickly, stop asking questions, stop challenging ideas. The result? Bad decisions made confidently. Emotions spread even faster in groups. One excited person ignites a room. One angry person poisons it. And in that collective energy, people sometimes do things they'd never do alone, because in a group, responsibility feels shared. Everyone's doing it, so it must be okay. Always ask yourself in group situations, do I actually agree with this, or am I just following? In a meeting where everyone praises an idea you see problems with, speak. It's uncomfortable. But different perspectives lead to better decisions. When friends are pressuring you towards something you don't want, hold your boundary. Saying no in a group is one of the clearest signs of inner strength. This doesn't mean always go against the group. Sometimes they're right. The key is balance, think for yourself, but stay open. Be your own person, but don't be contrarian just to feel independent. Observe group dynamics. Who leads? Who follows? How are decisions actually made? That awareness helps you act wisely, knowing when to speak, when to listen, when to step back. Your life isn't only shaped by big decisions. It's shaped by small daily actions, repeated endlessly. Wake up and immediately scroll your phone. That habit quietly fragments your focus every single morning. Wake up, sit quietly, breathe and think for 5 minutes. That habit builds a calmer, clearer mind. Same amount of time. Completely different lives over years. Most habits are automatic. You don't decide to reach for your phone when you're bored, your hand just moves. These automatic behaviors built up over time, often starting as coping mechanisms. They may have helped once. Now they might be limiting you. First step, become aware. What do I do every day without thinking? What helps me, and what doesn't? Changing habits is hard because your brain likes them. Habits save energy. They're efficient. So when you try to replace one, resistance is normal, it's not weakness. The trick is to start tiny. Don't say I'll never use my phone in the morning. Say I won't check my phone for the first 10 minutes. Small. Specific. Repeatable. That becomes a new habit. New habits become a new person. Also, change your environment, not just your willpower. Phone always beside you. You'll always use it. Put it in another room when you need to focus. Keep a book on your nightstand instead. Small environmental shifts make good habits easier and bad habits harder. And this connects back to human nature. People say this is just how I am, but your personality isn't fixed. It bends slowly with your behavior. Change your habits, change your behavior, change yourself. That's not inspiration, it's just how humans work. One small shift, consistently repeated, is more powerful than 10 dramatic declarations that last 3 days. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. We covered a lot: understanding your emotions and patterns, seeing the masks people wear, protecting yourself from manipulation, dealing calmly with difficult people, recognizing envy, questioning the stories your mind creates, building real inner confidence, staying yourself in group pressure, and using small habits to reshape your life. It all connects to one idea: when you understand yourself better, you understand people better. And when you understand people better, life gets cleaner, calmer, and more in your control. You don't need to change everything at once. Just start noticing your thoughts, your reactions, your habits. That awareness alone is already something most people never develop. And while you're doing all that, you're also learning English. Real English. Not just words, but a whole new way of thinking and observing the world. Keep going. Stay consistent. Trust the process. I'm Tom, and I'll see you in the next episode of Learn Flow English.